Happy Friday to everyone. I hope we have had a wonderful, wonderful week. This is the last of my elementary series. Had third, fourth, and fifth grade this week webinars, but welcome to the Access and the Georgia Milestones, resources and strategies for math constructed responses and extended responses. This is the fifth grade session number 1. I am Sawanda Coffee, and I am the math mentor here at West Georgia RESA. First, I'd like to start off, of course, by letting everyone know, the purpose of the webinars that we're going to provide each month throughout the school year. And it's just, to provide new teachers, teachers that have been, teaching for a while. It's just another resource that we're going to provide as a courtesy to everyone, because I know everybody is busy. We're constantly talking about the Georgia Milestones, what it is, what does it look like. So we're just going to serve as another place where you can come and get some resources from. You can take back to your staff if you would like to do that. Due to the time frame of the webinars, for this first month, definitely we will only be able to cover about 1 to 2 questions. Most of the time it won't be no more than that, just due to the 30 minutes that we have together. The series, I said before, will be conducted each month. They are for grades 3 through 10. So, of course, I'm asking everyone, if you have other team members that may be interested, if you have friends or family members that teach different grade levels, then, just let them know that this is going to be another resource that's available to them if they would like that. The format for each of the webinars will pretty much be the same. If you've joined me another day this week, my theme has pretty much been the same. So it will pretty much be like that for my elementary, and then I have a different set for middle school and then high school. In the webinars, we will be looking at standards, maybe 1 standard or no more than 2. A lesson essential question will be provided. I will also integrate the standards for mathematical practice into the webinars so we can get more familiar with those and actually start implementing those in our classes. And of course, we'll be looking at the actual assessment item, and then we will look at some scored student work that relates to that assessment item. Right, the norms. If you notice, you are muted, and you will be muted during this presentation. The reason being is, just to cut down on some of the feedback that we may have. Of course, you may type in questions on the presentation, and if I overlook one of your questions, I do apologize up front. I'm getting accustomed to the GoToWebinar, so I may overlook a question, but of course, I can always go back and see it and address it to you. If I do not get to your question during the webinar, then those questions will be consolidated, and I will answer them and send the answers back to you via email. At the end of each presentation, there will be a link to the recording uploaded to the West Georgia RESA site. And what I will do is, after it has been uploaded to the website, I will send you out the link and also a copy of the PowerPoint that has been used for that particular session. You're always welcome to email me if you have any questions. Please email me if you want to see some different things, because like I said, the format itself is pretty much the same. But of course, I am very flexible. I want you all to get the most out of it, especially if you can use this in your building to help your teachers just kind of get a look of what the assessment items will look like. All right, next, just a little brief review of the Georgia Milestones and the item types that will be coming out. Of course, there will be 3 item types, and that is the selected response, which we know as the multiple choice, which is for all content areas. The constructed response, which is going to be for ELA and mathematics only. Extended response, which is going to be only for the ELA and mathematics classes. Some quick definitions of just the constructed response and what makes the constructed response and the extended response different from each other. Well, with the constructed response, we've just been pretty much carrying on the same definitions throughout. Is the constructive response is a general term for an assessment item that requires the student to generate a response as opposed to selecting a response, like the multiple choice, for instance. Extended response items require more elaborate answers and explanation of reasoning. They allow for multiple correct answers and, different methods of actually solving the extended response item. One way or one suggestion as a teacher, and if you're an administrator and you want to, kind of assist your staff into transitioning these constructive response and extended response items into your class, and you want to really know where to start, we want to guide the students or train the students, whatever the word you would like to use, into being able to think about the process, the actual process of how to solve the question. We don't want them to jump straight to the answer. We want them to come up with a logical explanation of what is the process that I am going to take to solve that. When we have gotten the students to that point, then we want to actually encourage them and eventually require of them that they write that process in complete sentences at all times. And this is a gradual thing. So it's good to maybe, start this process if you have not already on Monday to, because by the time that your test comes around, you want the kids to be very familiar with what is expected of them. And they are expected to know and be able to write about the process. Then, of course, in the end, we want them to actually answer the assessment item in its entirety. All right, our standard for today is coming from OA1 from the 5th grade. Use parentheses, brackets, or braces in numerical expressions and evaluate expressions with these symbols. Now, the lesson essential question for today is, how do we evaluate expressions using parentheses, brackets, or braces in numerical expressions? If you have joined me for another webinar this week, the assessment item that we're going to be reviewing today is a little bit different, but it is an example of what can show up on the Georgia Milestones. So keep that in mind. Let's talk about the standards for mathematical practice. I will go ahead and pretty much ask that if you have not been planning to demonstrate the standards for mathematical practice in your classroom, then once again, this is another area that you can kind of work in over the next few weeks. Teachers should definitely, put these standards for mathematical practice into your lesson plans and be prepared with questions for the students to help them to start demonstrating some of the student behaviors. So what I'm about to provide to you is teacher behaviors, teacher questioning, and student behaviors that's related to the standards for mathematical practice. Standard 1 is make sense of problems and persevere in solving them. So some teacher behaviors is, of course, providing rich problems aligned to the standards. This is something that should be done on a daily basis. If you do not have resources in your building that is, helping you to address this particular behavior, please send me an email and I can help you out with that. But we should definitely be providing some very good questions when we're talking about constructive response questions and extended response questions in your class on a daily basis. The second behavior is provide an appropriate time for students to engage in the productive struggle of problem